Gentlemen. Adequate notice of this December, is that on?
Yes, it is.
Of the December the 23rd, 2013 meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of this meeting on the bulletin board, Municipal Building, 1000 Route 10, Whippany Township of Hanover, by hand delivering, mailing, and/or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: the Hanover Eagle, Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. Have a roll call.
On roll call, Committeeman Schleifer.
Here.
Committeeman Ferramaska.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola.
Here.
Mayor Francioli.
Here. Boy, what is this zeal, man?
5 members in attendance, sir.
They're anxious to get out of
It's
here.
the holiday season, Mr. Mayor. Possible Santa
Resources
records.
coming out of the gate. Wow.
Possible
All
records.
right, would you all please rise and join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag? Thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. At this time, a motion to open the floor to the public.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is formally open. Anyone who would like to address the Township Committee at this time can do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. Mr. Tort.
John Tort from 34 Forest Way, Hanover Township. I came here tonight because it is now the third person that's leaving the seat that we've held together with between Mike Salka, I believe, had 35 years. I had 18, and he had 6. And he's a short-timer, and I thought he would be a little bit longer. I am disappointed, but I just wanted to acknowledge it. I want to thank everybody for all their support this year. I think you guys did a great job. But again, I wanted to acknowledge the fact that you're leaving, and sorry to see you go. But I know you have greener pastures to deal with, so take care.
Thank you, Mr. Tort. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all your support. And it's been a tough 6 years.
It's been a tough, you listen to him. Oh boy, oh boy. Thank you, John. Anyone else would like to be heard at this time? Seeing none, hearing none. Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Administrator.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have one item of communication. It's a resignation letter from Thomas Quirk as a member of the Board of Recreation Commissioners, and he writes in a letter dated December the 18th, Dear Mr. Giorgio, as per our conversation this afternoon, I must tender my resignation from the Township of Hanover Recreation Commission effective immediately. As you are aware, I have accepted employment in the Hanover Township Building Department, and I cannot legally hold both positions. I must tell you, I will truly miss working with the members of the Recreation Commission. I thoroughly enjoyed my time as a commissioner working closely with the superintendent and office staff. I would also like to thank you and the Township Committee for the appointment to the commission and for the opportunity to serve for the past 18 months. Thank you, Thomas Quirk. May we have a motion to accept the letter?
So moved.
So moved
Second.
by Mr. Francioli, seconded by Mr. Bruno. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
We have approval of the Township Committee minutes of the meeting of December the 12th. We have a motion for approval.
So moved.
So moved by
Second.
Mr. Capola, seconded by Mr. Bruno. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. We have resolutions as a consent agenda. We do have one additional resolution which was discussed in personnel session, and that final resolution is a resolution of the Township Committee authorizing the execution of a last chance and rehabilitation agreement with Edward Fahey, and further authorizing the mayor and township clerk to execute the agreement. Are there any questions from members of the committee concerning any of the resolutions?
Motion to accept.
We have a
Second.
motion by Mayor Francioli, seconded by Mr. Schleifer. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. We have payment of bills, $236,537.14.
And for the final time, Joe, I make a motion to pay the bills.
Committeeman Schleifer makes that final motion. Seconded by Mr. Ferromosca. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Ferromosca. Aye. Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola. Aye. And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved, Mr. Chairman, members of the Township Committee. That clears the agenda of the Township Clerk
Now-
Administrator.
Now,
Now we're going to see if the
now
record's
Deputy
broken.
Mayor Farramosca is going to see a record set.
We hope.
Look at that time. Look at that time. But I do have to ask, are there any comments from the Township Committee?
Yeah, and since everyone's looking at me, Ron, maybe I'll take a little extra time. Perhaps I won't. Everyone asked me this evening if there's going to be a long speech. No, there's not. I just want to thank everyone here for their support during the past 6 years, both people sitting here now at this, in this committee and our professionals, and those who have sat at this table. And they certainly know how difficult, and you guys know how difficult this job can be at times. It can also be very rewarding. We've done some great things over time. And perhaps when I commented to Mr. Tort earlier, it was a tough 6 years. It was probably the toughest 6 years that we'll ever see on this Township Committee, where our country and what affected our Township of Hanover was in the worst economic decline that we've seen in a long time. We had to do a lot of things. We had to make a lot of hard choices, and I call them challenges. And from all those challenges, we did a lot of learning. And it was a great opportunity. I won't go into detail. I won't take credit for any of them. It was all of us that did them. So I don't want to sit here and tell you all these accomplishments. We all did them. So they weren't just mine, they're all of ours. And I appreciate all the support. And Joe, specifically, I want to thank you. I know you act as a buffer for all of us. And there are times when our decisions affect you. And it puts a lot of pressure on you. And you're a true professional and handle them very well. And thank you for all of that. And thank everyone here. Merry Christmas, God bless, and that's all the time I'll take, Mr. Mayor.
John?
I just want to acknowledge and thank my colleague, Mr. Schleifer, for all the contributions he's made to this committee. He's worked very hard on his assignments, and he's gone out of his way to really innovate and help us move forward, embracing new technology and solving a lot of things from what I would call the office of it cannot be done, to the point where we now have set the trend in Morris County for bringing automation in the collection of garbage in a far more effective and humane way to do it, and look forward to seeing an additional truck coming along, which would be great. But we thank him for all his contributions as well as generosity to our township.
Thanks, John.
Very good.
Yes, I'd like to echo the sentiments and thank Mr. Schleifer for all his hard work all the time. He's dedicated. I know with his free time, he'll undoubtedly be flying 747s or something of the like.
Not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt in my mind.
Sometime in the very near future. But again, I think on behalf of everyone in town, Ken, thanks very much for the time. And having overlapped for 2 years, I realize what a commitment it is, and the the time that it takes away from family and so forth. So we thank you wholeheartedly and wish you best of luck in your retirement. And then from the recreation and everyone else, just a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Very good.
Kenny, we've had our differences, but I too.
You keep saying that, George.
I want to thank you for you really have done many contributions for the benefit of the residents of Hanover Township. I'm only going to say what Ronald Reagan said years ago. Are we better off now than we were 6 years ago?
And I think the answer is
And
yes.
you're darn right. Because I
I
agree
agree
with
with
you
that.
about where we were 6 years ago.
Wow.
We definitely were at the bottom, struggling to get ourselves back up.
Oh, my.
Took a lot of work, took a lot of time, a lot of people working together, but we did manage to move the township forward. And with that, I would like to extend my very best wishes to you and Cindy for any and all of your future endeavors. And to everyone, a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a happy and blessed New Year.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
George.
George. Very good. Boy, Kenny, I can only echo the sentiments of this Township Committee when I say to you, you've been a wonderful asset to this committee. You summed it up. It's been a difficult time for you. I know it was. But you've been with this township a long time. You've been here as OEM director for quite a long time. Did a wonderful job. paved the way for your position here on this township committee and then served as deputy mayor, and you did a wonderful job. You're probably in one of the darkest times that Hanover had fiscally. Went through a very rough period of time like other municipalities did, but your leadership and leadership of the colleagues that you had at that time, brought us through to where we are now, and we are in sound shape. Thank you. Thank you for all your time. Thank you for all your effort. And I know the taking you away from the home front is difficult for all of us, that served. And I much appreciate every moment that you've given us. And I too wish you all the best. But I also say to you, sometimes it's in your blood. And the door is always open.
Thank you.
There won't be a time when it's not open, and you're looking forward to opportunities to work with you again, maybe in a different venue, different manner, but looking forward to operating with you. And that message goes out clearly, even to some members of the public out there, that the door is always open. But again, Kenny, thank you, and we're going to be talking more as we get into the new year. You're going to continue on as our representative before the Morris County Airport Advisory Committee.
Yes, thank you.
It's a position you like. It's a position that you've done well with, and you represent us well there. So we'll be in touch on that and many other things. So Ken, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Very good. Okay, on that note, and just before we open, just want to remind folks that January 1st is our reorganization day, and that will be at noon, not 11 o'clock, noon, here at Town Hall. If you'd like to be a part of that, we'd love for you to be with us. All our new appointments will be named on that day, and new positions for the Township Committee will be disclosed that day. It'll be followed by a reception at the Recreation Center, again, in keeping with our committee's wish to gather with the community. And so we hope you'll join us January 1st at noontime. And wish everybody a really wonderful, happy holiday with your families, your loved ones. Merry Christmas and a happy holiday. And on that note, I'm going to ask the committee to once again open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is once again open. Anyone would like to address the Township Committee at this time? Hey, Bill.
How you doing? I'm Bill Keeney, 26 Hamilton. Two pilots, huh?
Somewhere here.
Yes.
I gave up years ago because of time constraints and not being able to keep maintaining my flights.
Oh, but you can't beat it. Only ones we can reach our right arms up and touch the face of God.
As my brother-in-law says, who's retired Air Force pilot, it's, what's the fuel you use? Butanol. What's the type fuel you use? Octane.
100 Lilith?
Yeah, he says it's in the blood. You don't have blood, you have the octane in it. Anyway, I did fly quite a bit when I was younger, but not anymore. Anyway, I was reading some newspaper articles, and the thought came to mind, and I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot of reasons why it can't be done, but I'm going to make a proposal, and I'd just like you to think about it and see and consider it. And my proposal is to build a central fire station on this property. And since we have two fire companies in town, I say build it big enough for both of them and label one side Cedar Knolls and the other side Whippany. And let the township pay for it, the building, so that there's less consternation of where it should or should not go. Let the town build it, preferably in conjunction with the police station, so you'd have commonality of communications and resources, and rent the facility to the two fire companies. That way as we go down the road, and I guess the history of volunteers in general is going down, so someday we may have to have more paid employees and less volunteers. And with a single facility, you would have that consolidation already in hand and not build extra buildings someplace that are diverse in location. And from what I gather, geographically, this is about the center of the town, no matter how you look at it. So my thought is, and I know and I don't understand some of the legal organization structures, particularly of the Whippany Fire Department, but I think that the concept of having the town build the building and then charging rent would preclude some of the problems that the current fire departments are having on making decisions. And in the long run would predispose the town to a more efficient utilization of both the fire departments and also the police department, because you have common communication facilities. You would have less personnel. I mean, as far as the ratio of managers to workers in the fire departments, they're a little heavy on the management side and a little bit on the other. But with a common building, paying rent, they can continue their operation the way they have it, and then down the road someplace maybe we can see a consolidation. But at least initially, you would have centralization of a lot of the facilities, and I think you can work out the finances as how they would pay for it, but I think by the town building it and renting it back, it might work. So I was just reading the newspaper articles, and this thought came to mind, so I didn't think I was going to be almost the only one here, but it was such a friendly group up there. I said, my goodness, the first time I've ever been here that there was such camaraderie among the groups. I mean, I must be in the wrong place at the wrong time or something. But anyway,
Tis the season.
I know all you gentlemen, ladies,
Actually,
too,
it can be done, Bill.
you all know me and I all know you, so you understand where I'm coming from. But anyway, it was just a thought that came to mind, and I didn't realize I'd have such a wide open discussion, but think about it and see if you might want to consider something like that. I mean, it would be, I understand there's political considerations too, but by the town building the building and renting it back, you have some input to the process, and you have a possibility of future consolidation. So, just a thought. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all.
Thank
And
you.
I'll see you on the 1st.
Thank
Make
you.
sure you're
Christmas.
sworn in legally and all that kind of stuff, Thank you
Bill,
very much.
We hope we see you January 1st here. Join us.
Oh, yeah, I'll be
That'd be
here.
great. Very good.
So,
But I think your comments are well taken. I think that many municipalities have a Department of Public Safety that encompasses police, fire, emergency services of all types. But many townships have the various districts that we have. Parsippany has various districts, I think 6 or 7, quite honestly. And over the past year, both departments have been working earnestly to try and come together in some fashion that serves the township in the best way. I think that both departments understand the pluses and minuses of their units, of their plus and minuses of their various fire companies. We have districts 2 and 3, as you know, in the township, and there's no doubt that some sort of meeting of the minds and through a consolidation at some point in time would be healthy in the overall. Are we any less protected in the manner that we're being served now? I don't think that's the issue. Matter of fact, quite honestly, even when discussions of 2 fire companies were made, and even if they were consolidated as 1 fire company, it's very well said geographically that you would still need 2 firehouses because of the size of the township and the service areas that they're both in. So whether it could be done with a unified fire company somewhere, hypothetically, on the municipal campus or not,
my point particularly is by a single facility, you can still keep the 2 fire districts.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no problems with having 2 separate districts supporting the areas of the town. But by consolidating 1 building, you're not, as far as I remember, you don't necessarily need 2 fire buildings in town to cover the town.
Mm-hmm.
But by the town building the building.
Oh, I understand, yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
The point is the town builds it and rents it to the fire departments.
Yeah.
And then all the other issues can stay just the way they are for as long as people want them to stay, and you can work the other consolidation issues as time goes on. But at least you keep, in my view, the construction of duplicate facilities to a minimum and have efficiency in the facility construction. And by the town building it, you avoid all of these other peripheral issues that seem to be dampening the forward progress along those lines. So the point strictly is the town builds a combined facility and rents it back to the two fire departments. That's the basis of the proposal. The other stuff you were going into, I understand all that, and I've heard comments along that, but that's not the point that I'm addressing. The point I'm addressing is town builds the building, rents it back to the two fire departments, both are co-located. That's the point.
Well taken.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the holidays.
Okay, thank
You
you.
too.
Anyone else would like to be heard at this time? Hearing none, seeing
Move
none.
to close.
Motion to
Second.
close? Okay, motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
move. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas, everyone. Very good.
Did you set the record?
Take these in. Hey, Joe.
Yes, please.
Did you set the,
Done for you.
Ron, did you set the record? Did you set the record? You beat him?
I think we did.